So hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I showed you a glimpse of the procedure that I went through for installing macOS Big Sur on my Lenovo IdeaPad. Admittingly, I was not so thorough in my explanation because, being really honest with you, I was not really sure about what I was doing myself, so I did not really want to spread misinformation and tell you something that I wasn't so sure about. But yes, I tried to explain whatever I could understand and I could transmit. But even after that, if you have any doubts, then please do comment down below. I would try to answer my best to make sure that your queries are resolved. Anyway, in this video, I really wanted to show you my own workflow that I have created on macOS in these past couple of weeks. I found this operating system pretty interesting actually, and yes, I just really wanted to share some of the apps that I'm using on this. Some of them are open source, some of them are proprietary. And towards the end of the video, I would also do a little bit of comparison between Mac OS, Windows, as well as Linux, since I've used all three of these operating systems and sort of have developed an idea about what each of these have to offer. Now let's get into booting into the operating system itself. In my previous video, I did not tell you, but I also have a Windows 11 installation on the same hard drive on a different partition. And I did not really remove it because it has some files that I really wanted to keep. And Windows 11, I think, is sort of a good sort of a backup operating system because it runs a lot of apps and lots of program support it has. So I wanted to have that as a backup, but I don't use it. I just have that. And for this reason, I have not installed the EFI folder inside the hard drive itself, as the open core guide shows you that eventually after installation you are supposed to put that EFI folder on a hard drive so that you can boot without a flash drive. So I have not done that, and as a consequence I boot into my operating system with this flash drive. Now I have done BIOS configuration in such a way that it prioritizes this USB flash drive over the internal Windows bootloader, and yeah, so that's what I have been doing right now. Now coming on to the apps that I use as soon as I start my system. So as you might have known from my previous video, I am a huge fan of this app called KDE Connect. It's an app developed by KDE Plasma developers. If you don't know what KDE Plasma is, it's basically a desktop environment. It's open source and it is pretty cool looking. I've used that in past, and in my different laptop I still have that installed as a form of Kubuntu. Anyway, so I use that KDE Connect. It's a very nice app if you want to sync your devices. So I have KDE Connect installed on this phone, and I've also installed it on Mac as well, so it syncs pretty nicely. If I want to send any files, it gets transferred wirelessly, as well as there's this option to support clipboard sharing. So it's pretty much supportive of that Apple ecosystem, quote unquote, and it gets the job done. It's pretty nice and it is very convenient. The second app that gets automatically started right now, but it is AdGuard for Safari. It's basically an ad block that you use to block ads. Since Safari does not really have any uBlock origin, that's the ad blocker of my choice. But since it does not have that, and I really wanted to try Safari, so that's why I haven't installed Chrome or Firefox, any other browser. I'm just using Safari right now. So that's why I use AdGuard. Now coming on to the creative apps that I'm using right now. So in one of my previous videos, I told you that I had to stop using Linux because of the sort of difficulty that I was facing whilst opening up Ardor or any sort of DAW for creating music, and that was becoming an issue. That's why I had to switch to FL Studio. It was relatively better compared to that, but here on Mac I have tried learning Logic. If you don't know what Logic is, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know what Logic is, but if you don't know, it's basically a DAW, which means Digital Audio Workstation. That's an app that you use to make music. So it's a pretty standard industry standard app, and a lot of places use that, and it is insanely powerful as an app. It has got so many stock plugins which themselves are very capable that you can do a lot of things just with the stock plugins, as well as it has plenty of resources online if you want to learn more about it. So that's why I've been using Logic, and so far I've been liking it a lot. I'm still learning it, I'm still very new into it, but I've been enjoying it a lot. So for video editing, I'm using Final Cut Pro. Again, I know it's not an open source app, it's a proprietary app, but again, I really want to learn this. I really want to know what's all about, and I'm just sort of figuring it out. I'm still learning, so that's why I've been using it. I have used almost all of the video editors available out there. So I've used Premiere, I've used Final Cut Pro as of now, and I have used Vegas, I've used Filmora as well. I've also used Blender. I've also used Caden Live. Also used One Shot. So a couple of video editors I've used in past, and basic editing concepts remain same in almost all of them. And the thing I like about Final Cut Pro, to be honest, is just the fact that it renders video really fast. This laptop, as you might know, it's not that powerful, but even on that, a 10-minute video in 1080p gets rendered in around 10 to 15 minutes, which is pretty darn fast. And I'm not really familiar with that sort of speed, so for me, it's a big thing, and I am enjoying it quite a lot. So for photo manipulation, photo editing, I use Photoshop. Again, it's not a FOSS app. Some of you guys might be offended because of that, so I'm sorry. I'm just still experimenting, and not gonna lie, Photoshop is not as smooth as other apps on this Mac. It still stutters, but once you get started, it gets fairly good. But I might replace it with GIMP in future. Just saying. So for productivity, I use LibreOffice. As you might know, it's an open source office suite and it works really well. It gets the job done. I can do all sort of word processing for my academic works as well as for writing this script itself that I'm sort of referring to. And yeah, it's a pretty good app and it works. It gets the job done and I cannot complain. Another app that is very useful when it comes to Mac is OpenMTP. As you might know, I am using an Android device. This is a Pixel, and it's very difficult to get your Android device to connect to Mac because honestly, it's because of Apple. So there's this app called OpenMTP. It allows you to access your Android's file system on your Mac. I might link it down below so that you guys can access it as well to support these projects that I'm telling you about, because these are great projects. These are open source. A lot of people are working for them, and yeah, these are very amazing. Besides, for mail, I use Mac's default mail app. It gets the job done. It is fairly intuitive to set up, and all you have to do is just sign in once, and it gets synced with almost every app. So it gets synced with the Notes app, it gets synced with the calendar, it gets synced with mail as well. So it's pretty intuitive, and I really like it. When it comes to entertainment, for listening to music, I use Spotify. I've got the subscription. I know again it's a proprietary stuff, but trust me, Spotify is pretty darn good when it comes to exploring new music. So I really like that. And not gonna lie, the music listening experience on Mac is pretty darn good actually. Because of the Apple ALC kicks, the audio quality is just fantastic. I love it. It sounds amazing. Even on the same hardware itself, I've got the same pair of headphones, the same laptop, yet the audio quality, the details that I can get to hear on the same hardware just because of operating system is pretty noticeable and something I cannot take for granted. I really like it. Besides that, for usual day-to-day tasks, I connect my wireless earbuds to my laptop using Bluetooth. As I mentioned in my previous video as well, Bluetooth is sort of a hit or miss, but recently it hasn't been giving me much issues, and when it does, all I have to do instead of restarting, I just can log out and log back in, and the issue gets resolved and I can connect back to my devices. So that's how it goes. So yeah guys, that was pretty much it of how I am using macOS as a daily driver. I'm quite enjoying this operating system, to be honest. It is very smooth, it is very well designed, well thought of, and I often find myself focusing better on my work and not having to worry too much about the operating system becoming an obstacle itself. And yeah, the trackpad gestures as well as keyboard shortcuts are pretty intuitive. They are pretty easy to use, and they make the workflow a lot easier, and yes, they are pretty smooth, just saying. In comparison to Windows, I obviously prefer macOS because macOS is simply less bloated as compared to Windows. And I'm not much of a gamer myself, so I don't really mind macOS not being able to play video games. I think that's the reason why a lot of people cannot really switch to other operating system besides Windows. So that's not an issue for me. So therefore, I prefer macOS over Windows. But when it comes to Linux, the story is a little different. macOS is not at all free, it's proprietary, it's not open source, and even though it's less bloated than Windows, it's still bloated, and I often find myself not knowing what's really happening in the background. But on Linux, I can check, I can know for certain what is really happening. So there's that. So yeah guys, that was it for this video. I hope you liked this video. I hope you took some value from this. Again, if you have any doubts, if there's anything you would want to ask, you would want to know, then make sure to comment down below. I read each one of your comments and I try my best to answer them to best of my capabilities. And yeah, that's it. Stay safe. Bye.